Hey, it's Gray. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel where you will find a variety of reviews from recipes to subscriptions and everything in between. Today we're talking about the most recent blog post on grayeyes.me where new reviews are posted Mondays at 10 a.m. Central. So I did it. I did the thing. I finally tried a recipe for homemade bread, gluten-free white bread. Let's stress that. I didn't think I'd be making this review, but I was sitting at home on Sunday and I noticed that, yes, Kat of the Loopy Whisk posted a recipe for gluten-free white bread. Seeing as Kat saw a bunch of recipes for garlic bread all over TikTok and other socials, gluten-free folks, we want to partake in these trends too, but finding a loaf of bread like that, perfect for a garlic bread, it's just not an easy thing for us to come across unless we go to a specialty bakery or make it ourselves. So I kept telling myself that before this year was up, I'd finally try to make a loaf of bread. So I'll be sharing my very first experience of working with this recipe and also just making bread in general. So of course, all the links will be included in the description below. But let's rock and roll. The ingredients for the gluten-free white bread are pretty standard. If you are familiar with bread baking, then these ingredients aren't all too far off. Of course, the main difference will always be the flour. This uses a combination of millet flour, tapioca flour, and sorghum flour, or if you don't have that, the sorghum, I believe it's called, you can use buckwheat. So it's a little bit darker when it ended up baking, but the texture was just awesome. So definitely an okay substitution. Then of course you have the yeast, so it's not a huge difference, but our friend psyllium husk is a must in this recipe, that's for sure. Working with these ingredients is quite nice because once you have everything combined, you can knead and knead and knead the dough until it's to your liking, really, because, you know, there's no gluten that you can overwork because it's gluten-free. I made it funny, but yeah. It's basically like bread baking. Combine everything, get the dough shaped, let it proof, and let's talk about that, the proofing. I always find myself worrying about the rise of any pastry, especially when it's gluten-free. This loaf ideally will double in size after an hour of proofing, and it did. I actually put mine in the oven because my kitchen was on the cooler side, so I just had a cup of boiling water inside a oven that was turned off. I let the loaf do its thing and it looked great. Now my pictures don't look exactly like the recipe card because I ended up rolling mine a little bit wider, so it looks more like a baguette than some French bread, but ideally it worked out. The loaf had a great rise. Next time, like I mentioned, I'd probably roll it a little bit different or maybe try a different shape, but the idea here was, would it taste like bread? Would it be suitable for a sandwich? Yeah, the next day I actually used this bread to make a sandwich for lunch and it was fantastic. It tasted like the bread from the deli my mom used to get. So I was very, very impressed. I would 100% count this as a successful attempt at this recipe. I am curious if it would work with different shapes, perhaps if I made sandwich rolls, but for my very first experience, I always anticipate things not turning out, but I was very, very pleasantly surprised. To read my full experience, check out my blog post, and don't forget to subscribe so you can be notified when these new blog posts are up. But I really, really am glad I tried this, and if you are on the fence about trying a gluten-free bread recipe, I hope you give this one a try, and if you do, let me know if it turned out for you. That brings me to the end of today's review. I hope you enjoyed today's video and the post. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll be seeing you in the next one. Until next time, stay gray amazing. Bye!